In 1934, the federal government converted an isolated rock in San Francisco Bay into a high-security container for the nation's most problematic criminals. They selected inmates who had organized riots, bribed officials, and broken out of every other facility in the federal system. The water surrounding the island served as a thermal and kinetic barrier. At an average of 50 degrees, the bay could shut down muscle function within minutes. Even an experienced swimmer faced cross-currents reaching 7 knots, forces strong enough to drag a body away from shore, out toward the open Pacific. Inside the walls, the Department of Justice installed a relentless security apparatus. Tear gas canisters lined the ceilings, and a rigorous system of counts ensured every inmate was physically accounted for 12 times every single day. For nearly 3 decades, the island functioned as a system of total incapacitation. Out of the 36 men who attempted to break that system, almost all ended up recaptured, shot, or lost to the bay. Frank Morris arrived at Alcatraz in January 1960. He was a career criminal, orphaned young and processed through institutions since the age of 13. Morris possessed a tested IQ of 133, placing him in the top 2% of the general population. This intelligence allowed him to analyze the prison security as a collection of human-made mechanical protocols. He looked for hidden assumptions and structural margins where systems were vulnerable to a systematic exploit. Morris realized he could bypass overlapping perimeters by reverse engineering the infrastructure designed to contain him. Morris identified his first vulnerability in the cell walls. The concrete, poured in 1912, had been compromised by decades of salt air and moisture. He found that the area around the ventilation grates at the back of the cells was particularly susceptible to manual excavation. To dismantle the wall, the inmates stole spoons from the dining hall and sharpened them against the concrete floors to create crude chisels. They masked the sound of their work by timing the digging to the evening music period. For 30 minutes each night, the noise of guitars and harmonicas provided an acoustic cover for the sound of metal chipping away at the concrete. Reaching the shoreline required an 8-hour head start, which meant finding a way to bypass the 9:30 p.m. bed check. The inmates fabricated decoy heads using a mixture of soap, toilet paper pulp, and paint. They gave the models texture by applying real human hair collected from the prison barbershop floor. Under the dim lighting of the cell block, the decoys satisfied the visual requirement of the guard's count. This exploit relied on a human flaw in the security machine, a guard's routine complacency. With the counts bypassed, the men faced the bay. The freezing temperature and unpredictable currents made swimming to the mainland a physical impossibility. To survive the crossing, they manufactured a watercraft from within the prison. They stole 50 raincoats and spent months stitching the material together in a silent utility corridor using a needle fashioned from scrap metal. They sealed the seams with improvised rubber cement and used a stolen musical concertina to serve as a manual inflation pump. On the morning of June 12, 1962, guards discovered the empty cells. A massive search recovered scattered debris in the water, including a homemade paddle and fragments of the raincoat raft. Based on the debris and the deadly tidal conditions, the FBI concluded the raft had failed. They officially determined that the 3 men had drowned, closing the case on the escapees. In 1978, 16 years after the disappearance, the FBI's San Francisco field office received a 14-page typed letter. The author claimed to be one of the 3 escapees. Investigators took the document seriously because it contained classified details. The letter specified the exact ratio of soap to paper pulp used to create the dummy heads, a technical fact that had never been shared with the public. The letter also described a specific reinforcement method used on the raft's seams to prevent them from bursting under pressure. Only the engineer of the craft could have known this detail. Most surprisingly, the letter revealed a mainland contact who had been waiting in Marin County with a car. When the FBI followed this lead, they found a local witness who remembered seeing an unfamiliar vehicle parked at that exact location on the night of the escape. These verifiable details forced the FBI to reevaluate the debris found in 1962. The shredded raincoat material may have been a deliberate plant designed to convince searchers that the men had died in the water. In 2014, researchers at Delft University conducted a hydrodynamic study using historical tidal data to test the feasibility of the escape. The simulation revealed that entering the water around midnight meant tidal currents actively aided their trajectory toward the northern shore. This scientifically predicted landing zone matches the Marin County location where the 1978 letter and witness confirmed a waiting vehicle. Frank Morris survived the bay and built a system that erased 3 people from the radar of the United States government. He ended his 1978 letter with a statement of fact: "I am still alive. I always will be, and you will never find me."